All right. It's almost showtime. Let me know if you can hear me. Eric, I think you're the only one there for now. Uh, yeah. Might just be a solo show for me today, which would be interesting. I don't think I've had a solo RP grinders, at least not for a long while. So this should be fun. Let's see if Breakman joins us late. Eric is not going to be joining us today, which is cool. He's got some problems with his voice, so no worries there, Eric. Get better, bud. Um, just waiting around a couple minutes and then I'll get started. Actually, why don't we just jump into it? And I'll get break on when he gets here. So let's see here. I think we're ready to go. Let me hit the record and let's do this thing. My voice is a little scratchy. All right, here we go, guys. Hang on. Boom. Boom. Let's redo because something is not right. So hang on. I think I know what it is. I think I got it. Okay, now you guys should be able to hear me. Let's start this whole thing over again. Still waiting on Breakman. I think he's showing up now, so we'll give him a second. I gotta do something real quick. Where are you at, Eric? There you are. Let's do it. Boom, boom. Let's get Breakman on the horn. Come on, Break. Yo, Breakman.
Yo, what's up?
What's up? What you doing, man? We're on the air.
Oh, we're on there already?
Yeah,
Okay,
we haven't
that's cool.
started, but I'm just about ready to start the intro. Doing all right, man?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah, we're sans Eric today because of his throat issues, but we should be good.
And no mug because
Yeah, just no mug. All right, break. Tweet out if you get a chance. If you get a chance, please. I tweeted.
yeah,
out
I'm not
already.
I'm not ready. I'm not set up or anything.
Oh, okay. You want a couple minutes, or you want me to
No,
start?
it's okay. I mean, you can start the show.
All right, I'll start it. I know you're quick on getting shit ready, so no worries. I'll do the first story too. So, all right, here we go, man. Let me get all my links. They're there. Get that out of the way. Okay, here we go, man. Welcome, everybody, to RPGrinders, episode 466, if you can believe that, Breakman. I'm joined by my trusty cohort, Breakman the Bold. Eric the Great and the Frosty One himself are on assignment. Breakman, how you feeling?
They're both off at the same time, huh?
Yeah, I know.
Hmm.
See? I know. See, the conspiracy grows, man. It's getting bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, fishy there. Just stating what we're all thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we got a little bit of housekeeping to take care of before we move on with the show. Mug is gonna be here when he can. He works, so he's not a loser like me. You know, he actually works like Breakman. But I will say, Breakman's a better man because he works and he's here all the time. So, you know, it's one of those things. No, we'll get him when we can.
I say, wow, like that's just a cheap shot.
I know. Total cheap shot. I still don't have a mic yet. I know I sound awful on the podcast, but some would argue I sound awful all the time. So there's that. Um, let's see. What else was I gonna say? After this show tonight, I'm gonna be doing a special edition of Grinder Dance Party where it's Frank versus Chat. So you will pick a song and I will pick a counterpart to try to one up you, which we all know I like the best music, right, Breakman? I like all the best things.
Sure, yes, whatever. Say so.
What? Come on, man. Like
I said sure. Yeah.
See, even Breakman agrees. It's Breakman approved.
Sure.
So if you want to join in that'll be a ton of fun after the show. I'll go as long as people are interested, which surprisingly sometimes goes quite a long time. Last bit of housekeeping news. Next week will be the final week that I'm really going to pay attention to the Wicked Radio chat. I want to switch everything to Twitch. So let me know what you guys think of Twitch next week. I'll still do the normal Wicked Radio chat next week, in addition to the Twitch and YouTube and every other chat in between. But I want to test out Twitch to see how their chat works for you guys. So I know it's pluggable into other chat clients like Dungeon Buster said. So I think we'll be in good shape. So, all right, Breakman, how are you ready to go, man? I'm excited, man.
I don't know if I should read what was said in chat, but yeah, I guess so.
What was exactly. Exactly. I'm the stereotype of the show, the lazy Mexican. So yeah, that you got it, Breakman, for sure.
I didn't say that. I had nothing to do with that. I was just pointing out that it was said.
Is that Breakman that's doing that in chat? Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
That's not me. I was just not me.
Eric RPG. You son of a bitch, Eric. See, even when he's not on the show, he antagonizes. Dungeon Buster's in there. What's up, Dungeon Buster?
So he's trolling us in which chat? Twitch chat?
Let me see. Let me go check it out. Yes, he is in there. I don't think it's more active, Eric. I just I want more. Bridget says, "Hi, sexy." I think I'm assuming she's talking to me. So, what's up?
So, does that mean the show's we're pausing the show for a moment?
No.
You can go take care of something?
No, no. Let's move on. Let's get these news stories done out of the way. The first story comes to us from RPGsite.net. I'll get my ugly muck off the screen momentarily, people. It's kind of hard to do.
Well, apparently Bridget likes you. See that video. I'm just.
Doesn't everybody like me? I mean, like
that's not what I meant.
Oh, okay. What did you mean?
I meant in that way.
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. You're trying to sabotage this show like Eric. I swear. Just for that, you get all the Japanese ones today.
Wait. When does Eric sabotage the show? That was Mug that was always trying to sabotage the show. I'm confused here.
Eric was saying shit in chat earlier, what you said in the Wicked Radio chat. He was like, Frank is now a lazy Mexican, like the conservatives are always talking about. All right, first story comes to us from RPG site. Classic Falcom PC action RPG Zwei heading west as Zwei the Argus Avenger. I think we talked about this before. So it was released originally on PC in Japan in 2001, later ported to PSP and the PS2 in the region. Long overdue localizations are no stranger to Xseed, who has continually put out classic Falcom titles in English such as Xanadu Next and Trails in the Sky. Specific release details have not been confirmed, so we don't have a price. Looks like winter of 2018, but there you go. So If you're interested in why the arduous adventure, this would be the game for you. Breakman, anything on that?
Mm-mm.
I got the video running in chat. It looks like a really pretty action RPG a la man. It's just a real pretty like Super Nintendo esque uh, RPG. Looks good. I actually
It's
think
so
this looks
perfect.
good. Yeah, it is pretty. All right,
It's perfect.
maybe the next
Perfect.
story is pretty. Breakman.
Coming to us live from RPG site. 7, The Days Long Gone. And so not a sequel to that movie of Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. It's releasing on December 1st. Here's what the combat is like.
Yeah.
What? That's your opening? That's the title? If you're looking for a new isometric RPG to sink your teeth into, the open world RPG 7, The Days Long Gone, is coming out tomorrow on Steam. So it is already out because this was yesterday. So it is out today.
Yeah.
A vibrant game offering stealth mechanics to action-packed gameplay in the prison island of Pe. Pe?
Yeah.
Some Pe.
What is that?
Prison island of Pe. Okay. You will play as the master thief Tyrael. And I don't care if I'm pronouncing these right or not because these are fucking made up name bullshit and I can pronounce them any way I fucking want. And explore around Pe as you please. The game encourages you to make choices gameplay and story-wise, and you can freely switch between stealth and action playstyles. And on the other hand, you can choose to help or exploit Pez inhabitants. Of course, yeah, I want to call it Pez now.
I know.
It's like they're Pez. There's little
Pez dispensers. You know what? I play
little nasty pieces of candy that are in the Pez dispensers.
I play a game based on that. I mean, fuck, they made an emoji movie. Why not a Pez game? You know? Why not?
I hear the emoji movie was bad. Too bad. I was gonna go see it. So anyway, the little Hammonds, the little Pezes. Is that what the candy's called, or are they called Pezes?
They're called Pez, I believe. I believe the
so it's the Pezes. Okay. So it's just a Pez dispenser then.
Yes.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So this little town's the dispenser, and then Hammonds are the Pezes. Of course, there will be consequences. You'll be meeting a myriad of characters from slaves and prisoners to rich socialites. So there's a lot of variety offered. Everyone has their own agenda after all, and there's always more than what meets the eye. The fate of the Vetral Empire rests in your hands.
Yeah, it I don't know, it kind of looks like a boring version of Diablo. Compared with the last trailer I was looking at, this looks less fun for sure. So, I don't know, maybe it's got a detailed story that you really want to get into and like, but I think for my money, wouldn't you rather play Diablo 3? I mean,
I would much rather play Diablo.
Yeah.
I played Diablo. I played a lot of Diablo.
Yeah.
And Diablo 2.
Diablo's fun.
Diablo
It's a fun game. I played it a couple of times, very briefly. Yeah. I'm not a PC guy, but I know the newer consoles have Diablo 3. I'm looking forward to playing Diablo 3. So looks fun. Looks really fun. All right, next story that should also be fun comes to us from RPG site. Rainbow Skies to be released in 2018, and they have a new trailer, but they don't really give us a date. It promises 100 hours of content, which includes side quests and optional content, and then it has, of course, a collector's box with a bunch of extras like oh, you actually get a game manual for this. That's actually I know. What weird, huh?
I was taking a drink, man. You're gonna kill me with stuff like that. You gotta warn me first.
Yeah, I gotta warn you, dude. When's the last time you saw a game manual in a game? Like actual game manual? I can't think of one.
When was the last time I saw an actual manual?
Yeah, it's a good question. If you can
don't remember.
About it, but it's got the 2-disc original soundtrack, the 100-page book of knowledge guidebook, a double-sided map, and numbered certificate. So, for what that's worth, looks alright. Looking at some vid here, it's looks like a strategy puzzle RPG maybe. Kind of what I'm getting. Like like a loot grab, but you have to craft and do all that shit. So looks all right. I mean, it looks pretty. Not my type of game though, Breakman. So
So I think I remember like the PS2 and the Xbox having manuals, right?
yes, some
But
of them.
the
I think
360, I don't remember really any games
wasn't
having
it the
manuals.
the 360 that kind of did away with that? Like they kind of
Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe some games did, but I can't
what?
think of any that did.
Yeah, I know PS2 had a bunch. PS3, I can't remember having a manual for games either. So,
Hmm.
wow, this is a rarity, a PS4 game with a game manual. So that's kind of cool. Stealth Man says, "I hope Rainbow Skies is better than the first game." Yeah, I guess the first one wasn't great.
And
Uh,
Dungeon Buster in chat says the Xbox 360 had manuals. Okay,
oh,
I can't remember any games that did off the top of my head though.
yeah, yeah. I can't
I
either,
think it
man.
was later. I think you're right.
Uh,
Pretty much every game he has one. But I don't buy a lot of games. But like my Fallout didn't come with a manual. Halo didn't come with a manual.
yeah.
South Park didn't come with a manual.
Yeah,
Hmm.
a lot of DS games came with manuals, but I don't remember three.
But those are all Xbox One games, right?
Yeah,
I'm not thinking of
yeah,
360.
yeah,
Yeah, Dungeon Buster's probably right.
yeah. Well, Dungeon Buster's like right like 99% of the time. Um, all right, this next game I guarantee is not going to have a manual. Shin Megami Tensei 5 announced for the West comes to us from RPGsite.net. October. It was originally announced for the Nintendo Switch back in October. It's coming west. I don't think there's any surprise there. There's no date, no dates, nothing like that. So, and I'm playing the trailer now. It's pretty for sure. So, um, I'm excited. The Shin
Party.
Megami games are pretty damn fucking good. So,
That's
um,
party.
yeah, it's really purty. You got a purty mouth.
Hmm.
How about that purty mouth of yours tells us the next story, partner?
I think I have more pretty eyes than a mouth, but
Okay, I'll give you that, man. You got more
thank you,
purty
thank you. I do
eyes.
have really nice eyes. Anyway, coming to us live from RPG site because we're getting more and more news from them. The longest 5 minutes set to release in February. The longest 5 minutes, huh?
Mm.
Well, that's. I hope that's not false advertising. This game better not take more than 5 minutes.
Right.
NIS America has announced that the longest 5 minutes will release in North America on February 13th and February 16th in Europe. The game will release on PlayStation Vita. Holy shit!
I know a Vita game, man. I mean, if you
What
look,
is going on today? Manuals and Vita
I
releases?
know it's like retro grinders day or something, man. Weird.
So they also on the Switch. So this isn't an old article. Ooh, it didn't get mixed in here. And a PC via Steam. The niche publisher also posted a new trailer showing the sprite style and premise of the game. The longest 5 minutes depicts the hero's encounter with the Overlord when he suddenly loses his memories about his friends and his past. So it's Memento then? During the battle, he converses with his comrades, and the game will initiate flashbacks to the important parts of his adventure, regaining his memories before it's too late. You can find the original announcement post here.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, didn't mean to read that last sentence.
Um,
My
it
bad.
it looks shitty. To be honest, I'm not a big graphics horror guy, even though, I talk a lot of shit about a lot of graphics. But it looks like one of those retro games that were made on, like the very first engine of RPG Maker divided by two or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Eric and Dungeon Buster correcting me in chat. Uh, Eric says they did at first around the time of Shadow Lords came out. They dropped the practice. Um, Speaking of manuals again, uh, Dungeon Buster says towards the end of the Xbox 360's life, but it wasn't uniform across all games.
Yeah, yeah. There were certain ones that had them. We're talking physical. We didn't make that distinction earlier. Dungeon Buster, as always, correct. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
I'm talking about the paper ones that I could take and gave me something to read in the bathroom before we had smartphones.
yeah, exactly. All right. This next story is kind of a sad little story coming to us from RPG side. Demon Souls online services deactivating after February. Um, Wow, damn, it's been that long, huh, since it's been out. So yeah, you're not gonna be able to play online with.
Yeah, sad. Nothing lasts forever.
Yeah, I know.
It's just the way it is.
I mean, how does that? It's an interesting paradox because for the collector, because if you collect a game like Demon Souls, for instance, right? Um, when the servers end, do you never want to go back to that game ever again,
I
or
get the idea that a lot of collectors don't go back to their games. They're collecting them because they like having them.
uh, well, see, I
Just like kind of like to show them off, more than
yeah.
anything.
Well, I mean, like this game, like I mean, I guess the single campaign is pretty good in Demon Souls, from what I remember. It was obviously really, really super hard, but that was part of the whole kind of what started all that whole movement towards like metagaming. You know what I mean, Breakman? Like where the game didn't give you a manual, didn't give a fuck about what you were doing. It just kind of forced you to get better at the game. It kind of started
Yeah.
that whole subgenre of demons games. So yeah, offline souls. It's a new game. Eric RBG says. All right, next story break.
Dungeon Buster in chat says Demon Souls had a beautiful manual. Fast forward to Dark Souls 3, and I missed that part.
Yeah. Dark Souls 3 was probably the black sheep of the first three, and then of course you had the masterpiece that's Bloodborne that I fucking can't wait to play, man. All right, next story.
Dungeon Buster said it was sad when there were only e-manuals. I don't like e-manuals.
I don't either. I get, but it's with the times, guys. Like a lot of us are a little older, so we remember.
I know,
those
but the
times,
e-manuals are so like bland for the most
I
part. Like, remember all
know.
the cool stuff they used to do in like the paper
Yeah.
manuals? Like they
Yeah.
made them so you'd want to read them.
Yeah. Yeah.
For if they're a good manual, there are a lot of shit.
Well,
manuals too.
they kind of like did something that kind of took away from that when the PS2 started printing manuals in black and white, and it sort of lost like some of that charm. Like you'd get some nice artwork and shit, and in black and white.
You'd find out things about the story that just aren't talked about in the game,
Yeah.
Or details about the weapons or characters that aren't really mentioned, backstory.
Yeah, a little bit of backstory. Yeah, some reading. But you know what? It's 2017, so who reads anymore, right? Right?
Yeah, and as Dungeon Buster says, companies want to cut costs or holes in plastic cases to save.
Yeah.
Exactly. They don't want to spend the money on paper manuals, and I understand that, and it's good for the environment to make less trees. Cut down less trees is good.
I actually think it might cost them more to give you, if you figure in man hours and all kinds of other things, it might be a little more expensive to include an e-manual. I don't know. Are they online now, or are they, part of the disc, the manuals, or are they
generally they're part of the disc.
Okay.
Generally they're with the game. Yeah.
I'd be interested to know.
But like when you go and look at the instructions, usually it's just here's the controller.
Yeah.
And good luck.
Yep. Oh yeah. There's nothing I hate worse than opening like a Blu-ray or a DVD or a game, and like you open it and it's just the disc. It seems kind of cheap. You know what I mean? Like, like I'm not getting anything special here. I don't know. But all right, next story, Breakman.
Coming to us live from Gamatsu, Makai Wars launches spring 2018 in Japan.
Okay, I think that's good enough, unless you want to read the short.
I'll read the story. A determined 13-year-old, a female high school student who overcame the long wait and finally became the protagonist she long planned to become. 13-year-old in high school? I think I was in junior high at 13.
There was a 13-year-old in high school when I went to high school, so it does happen.
Wow, I'm just saying, like, she must be smart.
Well,
even though she has become the protagonist, she is still knocked around by those around her.
Yeah.
Those dicks, she's probably smarter than all of them.
Breakman, you brought up a good point when we talk about these Japanese titled games. This one's going to be kind of hard for me to play because it over-sexualizes 13-year-olds. You know what I mean?
Oh, really? I see.
Yeah,
I didn't get that from the one picture, but I didn't look at the video.
yeah. The video reveal. I just played it for chat. It reveals a
Uh,
couple characters that look a little too suggestive
yeah,
for my taste.
there's that definitely makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, a little bit. So yeah, it might not be one that I play, but it might be something you know that one of you all will
Because
enjoy.
and part of the making me uncomfortable is not only the fact that it's happening, but the fact that there are people like thinking that this is good.
Yeah, well,
Like this, we should do this. Like not just is one person, but like a whole culture. You know?
yeah, there is something as cultural differences that certain countries have had like a tradition. It doesn't mean the tradition is great, so
Yeah.
might not be illegal in other countries or whatever, but it's just let's just move on. How about that?
All right. Coming to
So,
us live from Gamatsu.
yeah, go for
I'm
it.
going to go ahead and step in
Yeah,
because you read 2 stories in a row before.
no worries.
Omega Labyrinth Z coming west in spring 2018. And I'm scrolling down, trying not to stare. About Omega Labyrinth is that Labyrinth Z
Uh-huh.
is what the hell was that? An ad pop up? Is the most tantalizing roguelike RPG of 2018. I'm guessing it is. Battle through challenging dungeons that feature ever. Let me start over. I'm distracted here.
I think you're looking at the picture, aren't you?
I don't know what you're talking about. Omega Labyrinth Z is the most tantalizing roguelike RPG of
Dude,
2018.
dude,
Battle through challenging dungeons that feature ever-changing maps, monsters, and loots. As you pursue your quest for the Holy Grail, a magical object that will let the girl's one true desire come to fruition. Rumors of an item referred to as the Grail of Beauty are whispered through the hallowed halls of the storied educational institute of Imblur Girls Academy.
Dude, I paused it at the end of the little teaser trailer. The trailer itself is glorious. It's basically a bunch of chicks
I really
intercut.
hope this is a college academy. It has to be.
Okay, you
Please,
see the picture.
please be a college.
You see the picture, right, Dungeon? The still picture, the screenshot, if you will. They intersperse that picture, but it's in motion. If you can imagine that in between like edits, so it always goes back to that girl like bouncing in between other things, and then spectacularly at the end of the video, the W, what looks like to be a W at the beginning, is the outlines of. Well, you can imagine what they're the outlines of. So there you go.
So anyway, the Grail can grant any wish, large or small, and as the tale goes, it is hidden. It is hidden in a secret cave that only reveals itself on opening day of the academy each year. Aina Akimaya, a popular young student at the academy, is fed up with feeling self-conscious about her body, and so she sets out on a grand quest to obtain Grail of Beauty.
Yeah. And then there's a bunch of bullet points
Yeah.
that you
Wait,
will
is she
want
the
to.
one in the picture?
Yeah, I believe so. And she's also the one at the very end. I don't know if you saw the trailer, but
She's the one who's having the problem? What?
yeah,
I'm confused.
I know. Why would she have a problem with that? Honestly. All right. Maybe she won't have
Eric
a
says, I
problem.
never thought it'd be localized.
The Z is for Z Cup. Jesus. All right, this comes to us from Gamatsu. Fast-paced dungeon crawler Wizard of Legend, coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC early 2018. I'm not going to reread what I just read, but there's an overview. The story is every year in the kingdom of Lenova. That doesn't sound bland or vanilla at all. The Council of Magic holds the Chaos Trials, a gauntlet of magical challenges put forth by its strongest members. Contestants that successfully complete all of the challenges and demonstrate superior wizardry earn the right to become a Wizard of Legend. So there's a bunch of features. It's fast paced. There's a trailer. What you think of Wizard of Legend?
So wait, I'm confused. This game takes place in Lenovo?
Yeah, like the computer.
The Lenovo company?
Yeah, exactly. They're
The,
trying to
the
find.
manufacturer of laptops?
Yeah, they're trying to find the sacred laptop. I was just about ready to say. I'm looking at the
Oh.
trailer. It looks cool, and they do something on here that I wished a few more games would give you the option, like in the old school action RPGs where you'd see their health at the top of their like how much damage you're doing and stuff. Like
Yes,
this,
I like
yeah,
that.
I like that. So that's really cool. I wish more games would give you the option to toggle that on and off. It'd be
Yeah.
kind of cool. So, all right, next story. I'm gonna go ahead and do the next one as well because I want to save the last one for you, Breakman, if you don't mind. Comes to us from Gamatsu. What do you mind at all? He does. He minds. Do you want? You son of a bitch. Song of Memories launches for PC on December 20th in Japan, for Switch around February of next year, which is, man, that's coming up right around the corner. We're going to have our end of the year special show coming up in a couple weeks. It'd be cool. So yeah, back in July, Pure Wish announced plans to release the PS4 version of Song of Memories in North America in the fall with the English and French support. They didn't provide an update in the announcement. It's also worth noting that the Switch version of was originally planned for release in 2017 Japan with English, Japanese, and French support, and the PC version was originally planned for 2018. So yeah, there you go. December 20th for Steam, April 27th in Japan. Yeah, so there you go. 4,000 yen. So I'm wondering. Eric RPG says, I wonder if Wizard Legend has exploding food. Last story, Breakman.
Coming to us live from Gamatsu. Azayaka na Erodori no Naka de Kimi Rashiku coming to PS4, PS Vita.
Oh man, this is the perfect story for you, Break.
Intergram is bringing Precano developed visual novel Azayaka no Erodori no Naka de Kimi Rashiku. Which launched for the PC on November 24th, and it'll be on the PlayStation 4 and the PS Vita in Japan on February 22nd. Well, here, PlayStation 4 version will be released physically at 2,480 yen, standard edition, and 6,480 yen for the premium edition, which includes a Kumi Hori illustrated tapestry and Keiichi Kanua.
Oh,
I don't think I pronounced that one right.
I think you got the first part right. The second part, I believe, is Kano.
Kano. Okay.
Yeah.
Written short story. The original soundtrack is also included with both editions as a purchase bonus. The PS Vita version will only be released digitally. Both the PlayStation 4 and PS Vita versions will cost 1,980 yen.
Eric said he picked this story on purpose.
Yeah, I think he did. So I'm going to the synopsis. The protagonist transferred into a boarding school, sharing a room with a boy who was in his grade. His roommate was the son of a famous kabuki actor, and also performs as the promising Onagata.
Yeah, you got it.
Which means female role actor. However, he found out his secret by accident. He was actually a girl. Whoops. From the moment, well, that's not really acting if you're playing a girl and you are a girl. From that moment on, the relationship changed completely. Oh, gee, I wonder why. However, he was not the type to take advantage of such a situation, but instead he wanted to help protect her secret.
What does that remind you of that one movie? What the hell was the name of it? It's like Just One of the Guys or something, where it was this chick and she was pretending to be this guy and she really liked this guy. And
I've seen a few movies like that.
He ended up catching her trying to put her top on, and then he saw the goods. And
I've seen that's been done a lot, like in both situations, like women pretending to be men and men pretending to be women.
Yeah. All right, well, that is the news, peeps. We got through the news fairly quickly today.
Yep.
There are some homie discounts with the PlayStation Plus. Darksiders 2 is on sale. Let's see what else. Oh, these are the Plus games, actually. So you get Darksiders 2, the Definitive Edition for the PS4, Forma 8, Kung Fu Panda, Siberia Collection. That's a good get. Until Dawn, Rush of Blood for the PlayStation VR. Wanted Core for the PlayStation Vita, and X-Blaze Lost Memories for the PS3. In addition, PlayStation Plus members will have access to the Monster Hunter World Beta, which we discussed last week, from December 9th to the 12th. Contains 2 ecosystems, Ancient Forest and Wild Spire Waste, and 3 hunts, Anjanath, Baroth, and Great Jagras. So that sounds interesting. Gets you a chance to get a taste of the game. So pretty cool. So any other deals that you know of, Mr. Break?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Any Twitter questions?
I didn't actually see any, but let me double check.
Okay.
Let's see here. Gonna scroll through a little bit, and no, nothing.
Nothing.
Still nothing.
Still nothing. So if you want to send us something, send all your comments, questions, ideas to @RPGrinders, and we will read them on the air. What have you been playing, Break?
The same old, South Park.
Change it to South Park this week.
It'll probably be South Park for a while. It's gonna be South Park on the phone, and South Park the game, and I'm freaking loving the game.
Yeah.
I know Moria was thinking more of the same, which I kind of get because it's the same city,
Yeah, but
they couldn't really change the layout of the city.
Yeah.
You're still going to the same places, still seeing the same people and such.
Yeah. Well, I think we kind of touched on it last week, Break. I used to hate, like, I was a big traditional turn-based, and I still am a big traditional turn-based guy, right? And when the Digital Devil Saga first game came out, it was awesome, and it was it got critical acclaim. I think it was in the 9s from what I remember. If we're doing scale out of 10, which means it's a very exceptionally great game. And when the second one came out, it dropped to 6.5, and I'm like, why? This is just as good as the other one. Why is it getting less? I mean, I never understood that. If you're getting, if it takes the same exact formula and doesn't improve anything, then you have a problem. Other than that, I don't see the problem if you take the core of what was good and just add to it. So it always boggles my mind that people.
It doesn't. You don't even have to really improve the game per se. If you have a fun game play style and you want to continue that with a new experience, why not?
Yeah. Dungeon Buster says pretty much every numbered Yakuza game takes place in the same slice of city, but they keep adding new things to do and change a few things around. That I think that's okay. If you don't have a major engine to go to in a game, I think it's perfectly okay to, I guess, sell yourself a little short. Save your eggs for a bigger basket on a bigger day. I don't care when something plays. It's like the Uncharted games. Those are pretty much, if you look at them 1 through 4, they're pretty much the same game, right? Sure, they take place in different parts of the world and stuff, but the core of the game is the cinematics and the graphics, and it keeps that same feel and controls for the most part throughout the series, and it just does minor tweaks, and I think those are great games. So I don't know. Dungeon Buster says Yakuza 5 kept the same city but then added other cities to mess around in. I have never, and I know this is kind of weird, I've never played a Yakuza game, but I've heard nothing but good things about those games. He said you could also punch bears, so that was a nice change. Yeah, that's cool. I think bears, to me, are one of the scariest animals on the planet, and
no shit. I definitely can't argue with that.
Oh man, they are, to me, they're like one notch below sharks and crocodiles. Sharks and crocodiles are at the top.
See, the thing with sharks is you have to be in the right place, and it's such a rare thing. I think the whole shark thing is way overrated, but you're right about crocodiles.
The same thing with bears. I would venture to say that they're very comparable in attacks, wouldn't you? Bears to sharks.
I wonder who would win in a fight, like a bear or a crocodile.
Ooh, crocodile probably no, but oh fuck, man,
It's got those massive jaws, but the massive body weight of the bear.
I know, man. I'll probably take the bear, and I'll give you 2 reasons why: Condemned 2 and The Revenant. Have you ever seen The Revenant? Holy hell!
No, I haven't, but I get the reference.
Oh, dude, that you got to see that scene, dude. I think it's up on YouTube, but it's scary, man. Like being mauled by a bear is. Whew. I had a bear one time. I was camping, and there was a bear that went through the campsite, and that was pretty harrowing, man.
I would have left. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
I mean, it didn't do anything.
Of course, I wouldn't have been there in the first place because I don't go to places that don't have running water.
Well, the place I go has electricity and water, so that's a plus.
Okay, I would do that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. That's not really camping.
Yeah, you could take a trip to Yellowstone, and they even got like shower stations where you can stop in, pay a small fee, and get showered up and stuff, so you don't have to totally rough it. So yeah, there's some cool places. All right, yeah, so that's a cool little thing. Bears versus sharks. Ooh, even better. Zombie shark versus zombie bear. How about that? Who wins that battle?
Okay, I guess I don't really care at that point. I was more interested in a real fight, a real bear and a real crocodile. They start coming back to life. I'm out. It's ridiculous.
You're out. That's ridiculous.
No,
I can't come
here.
I would take the bear, I think. Final judgment, bear? We'd both take the bear?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right. Anything else you've been playing, Break?
I've been playing South Park. Isn't that enough?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I have been pulling my hair out with Marvel Puzzle Quest. They upped the ante. It is much harder to win as you... Like, the difficulty curve, once you get up to level 65, which is, not the highest level you can get. That's like the lowest level high tier that you can get. But trying to battle enemies at that level is really difficult. And I know it's a cash grab, but man, is it hard. But I'm doing all right. I've gotten extra characters and stuff like that. So still keeping me interested even after all these years. So good on you, MPQ. All right. Do you have any reviews this week, Break?
Not really.
I got a real quick one. You ready for it?
Sure.
Happy Death Day. I just saw that today. I know.
Okay, I before you say it, I really like the premise of this movie. I want to see it.
It's surprising.
But it's got the worst title ever.
It does. Happy Death Day is not a great title, but it's a pretty good movie. It's sort of like a horror version of Groundhog's Day with some humor, not a lot of blood, so you don't see a lot of blood, but it's got its jump scares, and its premise was pretty fucking good, and it actually had some decent backstory to characters. They could have delved a little further into that, but I just hated the lead chick in it, and even after, like, at the end, I still felt like I didn't like her. Like, I don't know, it was just one of those type of movies, but it's a good movie. I give it a 7.5. You guys should definitely check it out. I don't know if it's a theater going experience. It's more like you have a bunch of friends over, or you watch it with your girlfriend, wife, whatever, and get scared, jump scared.
You saw it in the movies?
I did at the cheap movies, the cheaper. You know how they have bargain movies.
Yeah.
That's
how I used to go to the movies.
Yeah.
No, I barely ever go, and it's only for like the big premieres.
Yeah. You know what movie, and we're definitely going to be talking about it today, that I'm going to be first in line to see at the theater.
Oh, yeah. Are you going to talk about My Sweeto?
That depends if your Sweeto is the Infinity War trailer.
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Why don't we do our Sweetos first then, Breakman? Let's get into it. Go for it.
Oh, that trailer looked so freaking amazing.
Wasn't it good?
Yeah, like, and at the end, the surprise, because they said they've said for a while now that they weren't going to include the Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, they're in
Bullshit.
there.
They're in there. Um, they had to include the Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy, dude. I mean, it was. My only thing is like I kind of wish the Fantastic Four was there. I know it's a
I
small.
know it feels weird without the X-Men to me. It always
Yeah,
has, but
yeah.
it's the way it is.
But there
I'm
is.
hoping one day, maybe like 20, 30 years from now, we'll get like when they redo all of this, it'll be a complete universe.
Yeah. You know what? I actually think it might happen this coming year, dude. I don't think there's going to be enough time to, if this Fox deal goes through, which it's very, very close to going through, with Marvel and Disney. I think by the end of not next year, but the year after, we'll see all these characters rebooted into the MCU, which would be. Can you imagine a whole new cast of X-Men in the MCU, Breakman? Wouldn't that be cool? Or Fantastic Four?
So like coming in, basically coming into the already existing universe.
Yes, yes, the
Okay,
existing
because
universe.
they have been making like vague hints about like what's to come, like after the
Yeah,
not after the Infinity War, but after the
the
following
Avengers
movie,
4.
the
Yeah, the
what
Avengers.
they haven't titled it yet, have they
It's
actually?
Avengers 4. They haven't given it like a subtitle, but it's the
Okay,
fourth Avenger film or third or whatever they're up
fifth,
to.
wouldn't it? Is it
Fifth, whatever,
oh,
whatever
how
it
many have we
is.
had? We've had it's third. This is the third, so that would be the fourth.
Fourth, yeah, yeah, be the fourth one. Let's see. Eric is done with trailers.
I get confused because Civil War was almost Avengers 3. You know.
Eric says, but what's going on with Thanos' get up and skin color? This is the one nitpicky thing that I had about that trailer break, man. The trailer's fantastic, Eric. It doesn't give much away. I mean, we already know that there's going to be a big battle with Thanos. Um, but it was a breathtaking trailer. Like when I saw that trailer, I got super excited. Like this is gonna be one hell of a fucking couple of movies we're in for. Um, the skin color, I did have a problem. I also had a problem with them not including his. He has like kind of like a lack of a better word, a tiara that looks like I don't know, like
You
he
could have
has
said
horns.
crown.
A crown.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna make sure when he comes to invade the planet, I point that out to him. Get in
yeah,
his better graces. He
exactly.
called it a tiara, sir.
Yeah, then you'll
Kill
be
him.
you'll be like his henchman that he just crushes and destroys like right away. Um,
Shit.
but yeah, I like the way his face looked, but I wished he was a little more purple. He looked a little too pinkish to me, I guess, and maybe that's
I'm
because
wondering if that was maybe a flashback or something because he
it
looked a
could
little
be.
young in that picture. Because didn't he look young in that image to me? To you?
Yeah. Do you remember the first appearance of Thanos, Breakman? Like
Yeah, the end of the first Avengers.
yeah, he didn't he look more purple in that one? Like that's the way he really should have looked like. Like
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if that where we see him like just see his face like that's just a flashback.
did he have
But
the
we see him like we see him with the gauntlet too, so maybe not. I don't know. I'm not sure.
did we also we saw two gems, the one that
Yes.
on that gauntlet. So they're gonna do Thanos' quest in this thing basically,
Yeah,
which is
and
gonna
it's
be
kind of
awesome.
implied by the trailer that one of those would be Vision's
Yep,
stone.
yep. Vision. Doctor Strange has one. The rumored one in Wakanda. I think that's the spirit one, the yellow one, um, and the red one in Thor: The Dark World. I don't know if you remember the red kind of goopy CG thing that
Yeah.
was going on there. Yeah. And then the collector had, of course, the one oh the Nova Corps has that right on Xandar. So
I haven't seen the last Thor.
the what? You
I haven't
haven't?
seen Thor, the third Thor.
Oh no no no! I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the um, what you call it the one in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I believe,
Okay, I haven't seen that either. So.
or Guardians 1, where they go to the collector and he
Oh
has
yeah, I
that.
know that like the Collector had it, but I didn't know like the Nova Corps had it now.
Yeah, remember at the very end of the first one?
Is it? I don't remember that.
Yeah, you got to watch it again, dude. But yeah, they
I guess I
basically
do.
give it to the Nova Corps, man. I think it's going to take place on Xandar. I don't know. That's just speculation, but it's It's a really exciting, good, very well made trailer for a blockbuster.
Hmm.
I think. Eric brought up something too. I think the CG lighting might have something to do. Maybe the planet that they're on, because it kind of looked like an orange planet in that trailer. Maybe that had something to do with the way his skin looked. But the internet's kind of going crazy with Photoshop of Thanos. I saw the Peanut Man on that. What's his name, Mr. Peanut, on the those planners peanuts.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're right, Mr. Peanut. I
yeah,
wasn't arguing. Go
yeah.
ahead.
They made uh, they made Thanos look out to him. There was a Mario one that I saw with the crazy mustache. There was what else did I see? It was pretty fun. So people are having a lot of fun. It broke the record. I think it had like 245 million views within 24 hours, which is completely insane. So, all right. So let me move on to my sweeto. I have a couple. Oh, no, I have one. Right before I got on the air today, I was sitting down in the computer room, and my mom was playing Farmville, and I thought it was interesting because old people always say, like really old people. I could just hear the jokes now with you guys. Um, with really old people, it's hard to sell any of them onto games. You know what I mean? Like, Break, are you back yet?
Yeah, yeah.
um, have you
I
ever
didn't hear,
like
sorry.
seen like way older people, even older than myself, which is old as dirt, try to play video games? And
So
what
I kind of disagree with you because remember the popularity of the Wii?
the Wii aside, I'm not including the Wii.
Okay. Well, without the Wii, then yes, your
Yeah,
argument's fine.
exactly. There were a lot of games on the Wii that older people did like bowling, and I'm not talking about those half measured games. I'm talking about like true gaming. Like, can you imagine like a senior citizen playing a real time strategy game like Warcraft or Starcraft?
Well, I'm gonna be a senior citizen doing that someday.
Yeah, well, I know you are, you
I
son of a
can't play
bitch.
these damn real-time strategy games
Yeah.
anymore.
Get off my lawn, you son of a bitch, online.
I'm trying to build a factory, you little asshole.
I was
Let me build
watching.
my damn factory before you invade.
I think people as old as.
Oh, Zara Crush, you son of a bitch! You son of a bitch!
Are you gonna hit me with your cane, Breakman?
Sorry.
Son of a bitch. Um, I think older people are full of shit when they say they can't play games. I just don't understand it. Blah 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 blah. Right? I think it's a lack of interest. I don't think it's the ability. Because I was watching my mom play Farmville 2, the that garden sim game. If you can play a sim, I think you can pretty much play just about any game. So, you know, um, I don't know. I was watching her and I was like really surprised. She was like, you know, going around her fields and planting and watering, and she's got to get this, and I get water, pump water from the well, and whatever the fuck you do in Farmville 2, she was flying around the screen doing it, and I was looking at her like, holy fuck, she has faster reflexes than even I do on the computer. So that was my sweeto of the week, man. Just watching my mom play games and not even realize that she was really playing a detailed, game. So
Mm-hmm.
big ups to moms for that. Your Stinko, Breakman.
My mom has always played games. Like she used to play NES with us,
Yeah,
Super
I
Nintendo.
mean, yeah, the Nintendo games for sure. Like I can actually remember, my mom playing that horrible Pac-Man on the Atari 2600.
Yeah,
So
my mom would play. She was really good at like Dig Dug and River Raid.
you know what my dad was really good at
Mm.
was Duck Hunt.
Hmm.
My dad could
It's
play
just
the
weird. My
fuck out
dad
of it.
never played games. He didn't like them. He was
Yeah.
never into it.
Yeah. My
My
dad,
mom
my
always would always play with us. He's just never into it.
yeah, my mom for the most part too. But if I put on Duck Hunt, I couldn't get on the game. My dad would take over the Nintendo with Duck Hunt,
Yeah.
man. Your Stinko break, man.
Oh, my stink is probably the same as yours. In our Mr. President and deciding that, while he's commensurating
Yeah.
the Navajo, was it called Wind Talkers? What were they called?
Code
The
talkers.
Code Talkers. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, he decides to take a crack at one of his enemies as usual, but he decides to go with the calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas,
You
which
know,
which is not the normal insult. It's Pocahontas because of the going with her traits and heritage, but going with no, he goes with Pocahontas.
um,
Not the place to do it. A,
right.
B, a good way to alienate
Native
an entire
Americans.
culture.
Well, we've already done that with Native Americans by like basically almost a genocide break, man. There's
I know. It's just our president going make in a speech
right.
deciding I'm gonna make a joke of my enemies by comparing her to
But
a historical figure.
here's how I view all this. I'm the only minority on the show, so I have a little different take. This
That's not
is
true. Mugs, I'm
no
technically a minority too.
um no, not like me. Check this out.
Not like you know, but
No.
as far as we know.
um I have a little different take, Breakman. I Donald Trump is your older, like your either your great grandfather or your grandfather that was raised to hate black people and does not know that he or she is in the year 2017. You know what I mean, Breakman? Like he's if you were to take Donald Trump and put him back into 1950 or 1940, 30, 20, he would fit right in the South. You know what I mean? Like not in terms of being Southern, but his views on other races like black people, Hispanic people, and now Native Americans. This this comes to his mouth like it's second nature. You know what I mean? Like it just it rolls off of his tongue because he's ignorant. He's not only stupid and but he's willfully ignorant of things. You know what I mean? Just to promote himself, and that was a perfect opportunity for him to get people like us talking and saying, you know, he's a racist. I mean, I don't know how else we can spell it out other than to say that this guy is indeed a racist, and it goes way back. This is nothing new. We, at least, I mean, I knew. I don't know if you followed the news, Breakman, but back in the day when the Central Park Five got implicated in raping that young white woman, like the first person to get a full page ad in the Times and call for their heads, pretty much, you know, call for them to be executed was Donald Trump. He was a leading voice in that movement, you know, and there was at the time a sentiment um, of people thinking that they should just forego a trial and just put, you know, because it was a slam dunk. Well, with the advent of DNA and you know all those forensic DNA techniques that we've developed, they were proven innocent. So this is a very, very good reason to discard the death penalty. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it even has a place in society. It doesn't make us any better if we kill the person that killed. But and I know there's some horrific acts that go on, but if you look at what people do overseas, I know I always point to, you know, things always be better in other countries. There's a lot of good things here too. I'm not, you know, knocking a lot of the good things in this country, but there's a lot of stuff we can improve on, and that's a good area. You know, is race relations and having discussions including if they're a little uncomfortable. Like, for me, it's kind of uncomfortable to talk about our president, calling a, colleague. I mean, I guess you could call Elizabeth Warren a colleague, right, Brakeman? I'm not out of the bag.
I think she'd be more of a. I don't know if you can call him a colleague. You can't call her an employee, like,
But she's
because they're kind of like,
they,
the checks and balances. So I
yeah,
don't know what you call her.
but they're all part of the same team, right? They're all part of the United States government. Senators, presidents, vice presidents, the cabinet, all these different agencies, the FBI, CIA, they're all part of the federal government. So they're on the same team.
They're all part of the problem. Got it.
And they are part of the problem. There's no question about it. You're right, Brickman. But I think it's in bad taste to call someone that you may need to count on for a vote later on. I know they never agree on anything, Republicans and Democrats, but I mean, don't you hold your tongue in that instance? And especially when you have, it's like if he had a bunch of Hispanic like leaders in his office, and he started talking about how the United States stole Texas and California and Colorado and Arizona. You know, it would be out of place. Like it just wouldn't. It wouldn't.
And I complained when our last president Obama would say, when he'd go into his speeches, instead of trying to work with Republicans, it was always like blame the Republicans for everything. Well, they're not going to work with you if you do that.
Right.
Then we got this jackass who comes in and turns it up to fucking 11.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't.
He takes personal shots at people, whereas, and when I was complaining about Obama, like vaguely naming a party, we got this jackass who takes personal and just completely offensive shots at anybody he feels like.
Do you think he knows what he's doing, Brakeman, or do you think it's more of what I was saying? Like he has that old school mentality that's just like, it's just part of life, right? Like
I think he knows who his base is, and he's just decided to appeal to them.
And that's it. Well,
yeah, and I don't think he's I don't think he's smart enough to think past that.
Yeah, I agree with you actually, but I also think he's stupid enough to stumble his way into more of an authoritarian voice in the government. He's already done that. If you look at what happened with the Consumer Protection Finance Office, they had a clear, established process in place for when the head of that department would leave, but yet he installs his own guy, Mick Mulvaney, as the head of that organization, which he hates. Mick Mulvaney is an ardent opponent of the very financial institution that protects regular Americans with, like making sure banks don't do shady shit. So I think he's becoming more and more authoritarian as we speak. It's almost like it's a silent thing that's going on, like it's a creeping death, if you will. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like that to me. Which brings me to the next point. I know we've had like our arguments over this, Brakeman, but the new tax bill is awful. It is. I looked at it and I read it, and some of it I don't understand because I'm not an economist. But the one thing I do understand is plain numbers, and the numbers bear out that this is not only going to add over $1 trillion to the deficit, but it's also going to take people off of health care. So there will be 11 to 13 million people with less health care than there is right at this moment. So I vehemently oppose this tax bill. It is, and if there was one thing, remember I told you guys, Brakeman, if there was one thing that's going to get passed, it's going to be this tax bill. It's because the rich are going to get their money, and the middle class and the low income class are going to bear the brunt of that tax bill. And yes, the effective tax rate of corporations is going from 35 to 20%, but they didn't take any of the loopholes away. So now companies, instead of paying the around 12 to 17% that they were paying, they're going to be paying more like 6, 7, and some companies might even get a refund back, which is disgusting. So, you know, rich get richer,
See that
poor
of
get
course
poorer.
they never take care of loopholes. Is the big problem.
That's the problem. That's a huge issue. And even if they did, I don't think for our country, as rich as it is, 35% is not a bad tax rate for companies.
It's too high when
Mm-mm.
our competitors are offering much lower rates. You have
Yeah.
to go with the competition.
It is not, Breakman. Like I said, they pay it, not the 30% that they say, they pay about 12%. When you take out all the loopholes,
It depends on the company.
but
You can't lump them all together.
most companies, and especially the big corporations, are getting a, an effective tax rate of about 12% or less, 7 to 12. Now it'll be clear across the board about 7%.
But
Not the
okay,
20%.
so let me ask you, why don't you want? What is wrong with them getting not paying taxes?
This
What's
is the
your
reason. This is the reason, Breakman. Number one, we are by far the richest company in the world, right? If you wanted to lower the tax rate, that's fine. But where are you going to get that windfall of money without affecting the citizens of the United States? The only way to do that is to institute um, a broadening of loophole closings, right? So that way, instead of paying, they would never go for it. For one, the Koch brothers and the Soroses and all these billionaires would never go for. Matter of fact, right now they're discussing raising that from 20 to 22%, and to make up some of that money, and they won't give on it. The Koch brothers have already said that would not be acceptable, and these are the people that are paying these politicians off in legalized bribes, right? I always talk about getting money out of politics. This is where it comes into play. If you have, let's say, a tax bill where your donors, like the Koch brothers, are the major influence, and the Soroses, and all these rich millionaire and billionaires calling the shots, you're never going to get a corporation to pay their fair share. Their fair share, in my estimation, is about 20%. No loopholes. That's a fair share. You realize
I think I agree with you on that.
Yeah, but check this out, Brakeman. We used to have, before the economy crashed, and before that they revised Dodd-Frank and all that type of stuff, these major corporations were paying, on paper, the effective corporate rate was 40%. In reality, it was 20%. And it was much more balanced. The middle class and the poor people had a decent ratio of the money. If you look at that ratio now, and it's only going to get worse with this tax bill, to the point where the poorest of the poor are going to die off because they're not going to have health care and everyday things to help them live. What about somebody with diabetes, for instance? You know what I'm saying? So the lion's share of the money is going back up, and these big corporations will tell you, well, we're creating more jobs, but it's just patently untrue. It's been proven over and over, multiple studies, multiple people in the know in
See,
the
but
economy.
that's not you can't back that up because the tax rate has been the same since the 60s. So no studies would really affect that.
Well,
No studies really. I mean, it's the tax rate based from the 60s.
well, okay, the tax rate has changed a little bit over the years, Brakeman. in favor of the corporations. And every time it
No,
gets,
no, you're talking about like tax breaks and stuff like that, but I'm talking about the rate itself has not changed.
what I'm saying is this. It was about 40%. It's went down to 35%. And in that time,
It is not 35%.
it is 35%. The effective tax rate of major corporations is 35%. But if you take into account all the loopholes and all that type of stuff, it's about 12 to 20% if you have shitty lawyers. So, in that span, you said it right, in the 60s, from the 60s to now, as they've shrank the effective tax rate, the majority of the money has been going to the upper 1% or thereabouts, 1 to 5%, depending on which study you look at. And that does not create new jobs. It doesn't stimulate the economy. What do you do when you give a rich person more money, Breakman? What do they do with it? Do they spend it? No. They gain wealth. That's all they do. The need for more wealth is what drives them. There's a reason
I know,
why.
which is one of the reasons they take all the companies offshores because
Yeah,
more profit.
exactly right. There's no question about it.
Okay, the tax rate is 39.1%.
About 35%, dude.
No, I'm looking at Wikipedia. It's 39.1%.
Yeah,
You're talking federal rate is 35%,
yeah,
but there's
federal.
also state rates.
Yeah,
so
I'm
it's
not talking
39.1.
about this because every state is different. I'm talking about the federal effective tax rate. And
Okay.
that's down. That's down about 5%. And that's before all the deductions and all the bullshittery that goes on with that. And the loopholes, et cetera, et cetera. So if you look at that time, as we've given corporations more money, they haven't created more jobs. You said it yourself. They're the more money they make, the more they're taking shit off out of the country. Carrier is a good example. You know, Donald Trump said he saved so many jobs in Carrier. Well, they're about ready to do another layoff, and send more jobs overseas and to Mexico and wherever else. So it's all a big scam. It's all, let's see how much money I can get in this plan for our donors. That's what it boils down to. So if you have legislators that are bound by their corporate donations, right? Of course they're going to, whether they're Democrat or Republican, there's a reason this bill is going to pass, and it's because the Democrats and Republicans are both corrupt. You know what I mean? Like they're both taking that donor money. The new guy that they've been touting as maybe a Democratic contender this coming cycle, 2020, is Cory Booker. Cory Booker takes more money from Big Pharma than any other senator. So tell me he's going to vote opposite their best interest. Is Cory Booker going to ever vote for single payer? No fucking way he will do that. You see what I'm saying? Things that help people usually affect businesses, their bottom line, and they can't have that. So if we were to somehow come up with a new amendment to limit or just get rid of money in politics, like big corporate donations, and go down to like grassroots donations, we wouldn't have this problem because people would actually be concerned with the people, not big corporations. And I refuse to look at corporations as people. They are mindless machines that all they want is more and more money. Is that your cat? That is the cutest thing.